The first one I'm going to read is just called A Love Poem. And I wrote it around a year ago. And yeah, okay. A love poem. You said you'd paint my black roses red, and I handed over my raw heart in a ribbon box, dripping with blood, still beating and thumping. You said you'd pause the sunset for me till the yellow burned into my eyes. I flew too close to the warmth of the sun, and my wings dripped tears of wax. You said you fell in love with me on that autumn day when golden leaves fell. I sat on your bench reading your favorite book, and I pretended you weren't watching as you pretended I wasn't pretending. You were my jazz song accompanying on an empty last train ride home. Then the guitar strings snapped one by one till it wore a coat of bitter death. The subtitles wouldn't sync with the audio, and the movie ended before the credits rolled. And this next one, I wrote it just today. It's the first poem I've written in a really long time, so excuse any, if it's raw or whatever. Have you seen this girl? I've caught whiffs of her, broken shadows on the corners of Champs-Elysees, draped in a sequin shawl of stars on the velvet sky, murmuring prayers as lovers toss their locks into the scene, whispering verses into lonely travelers' ears as they pore over Hemingway at Shakespeare and Company, taking changelings on a gargoyle's back as the clock strikes midnight, dancing against the backdrop of red windmills at Montmartre. I need her to come back to me. Please, anyone, have you seen this girl? Have you seen this girl? I was sure I saw her long dark hair caught in the beaks of swans at Regent's Park. And was that her at Oxford Street, dipping chips into tartar sauce and licking the oil off her fingers with glee? And who else could have been picking out vintage cameras and vinyl records amongst the maze-like Sunday stalls of Brick Lane? I very much like it if she comes back to me, so anyone, have you seen this girl? Have you seen this girl? I've tracked her down now, I'm sure it was her, strolling quietly down Glasgow Cemetery, smiling at the graves of James Joyce's parents and Yeats' lover, weeping for the banshees, longing to take their longing away, taking selfies with Oscar Wilde's bust and counting color panels on stained glass windows. I'm almost there now, so if you could just tell me, anyone, have you seen this girl? Have you seen this girl? I've seen flickers of her across the city, but I can't be sure. The peripheries of my vision obscured by the fur lining my hood, as I hold myself a little tighter in the cold, struggling against the wind, and I wish she was with me, to hold my hand, to listen with me to the sound of wet brown leaves crunching under my feet, to watch the streets overflow with the tears of Clyde on a murky morning. She's so near yet so far, but I think maybe I've seen this girl. Have you seen this girl? I have. I climbed to the top of the hill and beyond the majestic red roofs of Prague, I found her there, lurking between the narrow cobblestone streets of Old Town Square, squinting at the sunset through the shadows of boughs branches and eluding me for the last time. I finally caught up with her in the small pastel-colored town of Kutna, and she was there, waiting for me with coffee and cigarettes, waiting all along for me to look a little harder for her, to once again be worthy of her who never truly left me, waiting and ready to take my hand and once again rue my vellum as the Queen of Solitude. And I have two more, but it's not that long. This one, I don't think I have a title for it. Okay. We smoke so that we can watch the cigarette burn up the part of our lives we thought didn't matter anyway. I stare at the last of my Macallan, only drops of my $100 bill and my pride remains. At the back of my mind, I think about my rent. My rent is always at the back of my mind. I dream about a world of French movies, champagne lunches, jazz concerts, trips to Paris, gentlemen in glittering, perfectly fitted suits, and when I'm lucid, I think about the maybes. Maybe later in life, maybe in my next life, I'll get lucky, and bourgeois will no longer be a filthy word layered with pretense. I've bid the shore goodbye to set sail into a sea of freedom, but I can never shake my anchor. It's holding me in place, but its weight is dragging me down and I'm sinking. Later at night, I will read to forget who I am and write poetry about who I am not. If I feel like it, I will dig my fingernails into a stranger's skin so his scent and will envelop mine and I won't hear the voices inside my head anymore. So many things we use to help ourselves feel, and yet so many things we cannot feel. In the end, we're all hedgehogs, emanating hurt in every direction as we struggle to huddle together to stay warm. And this one is just questions, and it's literally 10 questions. 10 questions. Is there flavor below vanilla? What does grass smell like? Can I touch the sound of silence? Are there parallel universes in our love story? What really is the shape of my heart? How many shades of color are there in the sunrise? Are there books about ordinary ugly people? Where does February hide her 29th sun in the coming years? How eternal is the moment of infinity before death? And why did Alice ever leave Wonderland? That's it, thank you.